It is Tuesday, and welcome again to another edition of AHYSEN Nation. Hello, I'm John. I can take this off. I can take this off. Hi, now, we're wearing masks around the station again just because the corona variant is all over the place, and we're just protecting each other, being responsible. You do you. You do you. That's what I'm telling people. You do you. Well, good show for you today. We are going to talk to the Manship Theatre in the Shaw Center for the Arts downtown. They are back in full force, and they have a great show coming up this weekend. One show Friday night, it's almost sold out. Two shows Saturday, a performance, a matinee at 2, and then the show at 7:30. So we're going to be talking to Melanie Cuvion, a good friend of mine, and she is also the executive director of Manship Theatre. So we're going to talk to her in just a second. Now, we recorded the interview yesterday. You may see when we play it back here, just a slight variation in the voice because of the digital broadcast, but it'll be okay. I have a couple of things to share with you here this morning. This is kind of cool. A recent survey, today is January 4th. By the way, my little brother's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, David AHYSEN in Beaumont, Texas. Big coach at the big high school there, Westbrook, the Westbrook Bruins. He's back in school teaching and coaching, and he turned another year closer to 60 yesterday. David AHYSEN is 57 years old. Good gracious sakes, my little brother. All right, here we go. A recent survey found that 51% of Americans make New Year's resolutions. Okay, so a little bit more than half. But half of the people make New Year's resolutions. Of the 51%, 87% say they will keep their resolutions. 13% said they probably won't. And going on to talk about resolutions, how many resolutions do you typically make for the year? 39% say 1, and 35% say 2. What category is your New Year's resolution in? 71%. Can you guess? 71% of us who make resolutions make them in the health and wellness area. 54% personal growth, 52% finance, relationships 24%, and then travel is 18%. Do you plan on shopping end of season sales? We were talking about this last weekend about getting Christmas lights for the house for next year because they're all going to be going on sale here. So do you plan on shopping end of year sales this week? 82% say yes, they will. Once the holiday season is over, will you take a break from shopping? 55% said yes, 45% say no, so pretty close to half there. Do you feel financially confident going into the new year? 69% say yes, 31% say no. Do you feel more or less financially confident heading into 22 compared to 21? 41% said no, I feel about the same as last year. Only 33% say they feel more confident. So that's an interesting little survey there. This is a little bit more on a serious topic from our friends at the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission. They say if we will all make 2 New Year's resolutions for a safer Louisiana, it will work. If Louisiana drivers would resolve to do just 2 things in 2022, the state would see a dramatic decrease in both injuries and deaths from motor vehicle accidents. In fact, in 2020, crashes killed 828 people and injured in Louisiana more than 64,000. That was in 20. So the first resolution is to always wear your seatbelt, regardless of how long or short the trip is, and regardless of whether you're sitting in the driver's seat or the passenger seat or in the back seat. If you are in a motor vehicle, wear your seatbelt. That's resolution number 1 that can drastically, research has shown, cut down on injuries and death from motor vehicle accidents. State and national studies consistently show that drivers and passengers are more likely to survive a crash if they're wearing a seatbelt. Our seatbelt usage is not bad, but it's below the national average. Our seatbelt usage here in Louisiana last year was 87.5%, 87.5%. The national average is 90.3%. So we're just a little bit below the national average for wearing seatbelts. Second resolution drivers should make is to focus solely on their driving. A report on distracted driving shows that nearly 1/3 of all Louisiana drivers engage in some sort of secondary task while they're driving. Talking on the phone, eating, doing makeup, reading even, and texting. And they said to be a safe driver, you have to be present and focused on operating that vehicle. That's just driver's ed 101. There's other driver behaviors in the state. Impaired driving is still a problem in our state. Speeding, reckless driving. So there's your 2 New Year's resolutions, even if you don't keep resolutions. Number 1, wear a seatbelt. And number 2, be solely focused on the task of driving. So I didn't even put my name up. Let's see. Hang on a second. Where's my name? There I am. Good to see you. So January 4th, and we have a great show for you. We're going to get right to the interview here. Melanie Couvillon and I have been friends, since the late 80s, early 90s. She's a big name in theater here in the Baton Rouge area, and she is also now the executive director of the Manship Theatre in the Shaw Center for the Arts downtown. And they have the big main theater, and then they have a smaller studio. And in this weekend, in the studio, there's going to be a great show. And we're going to just dive right into the interview here that she and I visited with yesterday. It's Melanie Couvillon with the Manship Theatre. And Melanie Couvillon is with us today. You and I had such a fun history together. And
I know.
We need to rekindle that friendship.
We do.
Back in the 90s,
It's just
Melanie.
like yesterday.
It just went by that fast.
It's fun, yes.
But Melanie is very active in theater here in the Baton Rouge area. She's been on stage a lot of the behind the stage stuff, and you and me, and back when Jamie Wax was in town, and Shirley Simpson, and who else was here? Well, Paige, his wife at the time.
Right. And
did a lot of
Bob
theater.
Earl.
Bob Earl, God love him. Bob Earl, what can we say about Bob Earl?
He was just a staple. He was a veteran. He was such a huge part of Baton Rouge Little Theater and just theater in general, and it had such a huge resume. And the first time I worked with him was, I think it was Gypsy. We did Gypsy. And
I saw
he
that
was
show.
he had just a bit part, and he was Rose's father. Has this great part at the beginning. And he's just, when he was on stage, you just couldn't look at anything else.
He was a WIBR radio back in the day. Wow.
He had such a
AM
great voice.
1300, I think it was.
Great voice.
That is so awesome,
Yeah.
man. You're bringing back a lot of memories.
I think Leonard was in that show too. Leonard Augustus. Wasn't Leonard in that as well? Or am I thinking of another show? I don't know. We'll have to ask
I don't
Leonard.
remember.
We'll have to
That
ask
rings
Leonard.
a bell.
Maybe.
I have to have a adult beverage
Possibly.
over.
Possibly. Yes, of course.
But Melanie stayed with the theater, and she's, in fact, poor Bob Earl. Bob Earl passed away at rehearsal.
He did.
And he always wanted to, he went like he was enjoyed life. I mean, he just,
I guess that's
to the very
how
last.
you want to go, doing what you love.
And
know?
that was just sad. But I'm in the middle of one of y'all's productions, and I was off stage working where I'm most comfortable on that production too. I don't remember what it was. It was you remember the name of it? It was.
I do not.
I don't either. But it was.
Maybe that's the one Leonard was in. I
but
think.
it was, if I remember, it was a predominantly woman show, like you have coming up this weekend. So Melanie's now with the Manship Theatre, where she has been for a while.
Yeah.
And do you ever get on stage much anymore?
No, I take that back. The last main role was Mary Poppins, which was a long time ago, and that was at Theater Baton Rouge. But I've done a few of these productions that we're going to talk about with the musical encore series, and that was a lot of fun, but it's hard to do that with my real job. Yeah, which is unfortunate, because I love to perform and I love to sing, but now I'm kind of,
You were so good. I remember running lines with you thinking, my gosh, she needs to be in a big city.
Well, I went away for 8 years. I mean, it flew, and then I came back and eventually found my way back and found my way at Manship Theatre, and been there since 2010. So,
well, we want to talk about this weekend's production, I'm Every Woman, but we also want to
Yes.
talk about the Manship Theatre in general, because I don't know that a lot of people have gotten back into the comfort zone of going back to theater.
Exactly.
But you've got the protocols in place, correct?
we do. And we always, and right now, we say, masks are welcome. You come, and we want you to feel comfortable and you to feel safe. And they're not required, but they are welcome. And so a lot of our patrons do wear masks, and they drink their beverage and put their mask back on, so everyone is comfortable, and that's what we're doing right now. We've always followed the state mandate, all through this period. We have whatever the state has required, that is what we have done. And I feel like we've always been safe, and I want our patrons to feel extremely comfortable. So that's what we've been doing. And so with this production, we went ahead and reduced the capacity a little bit to have a little bit more space.
Now, are you in the main theater?
No, this is in the Hartley Bay Studio Theater. So this is a series that we've always done in the studio. And a lot of people are like, why do you do it in the studio? Why don't you do it in the main theater? And I'm like, well, because I want programming in that fantastic space. It has an incredible sound system, and it's even a more intimate experience for the patrons and for the performers. And it's just a great vibe. And so I've kept it in there. I like it in there. And we just do more shows.
So the main theater's 325 seats, I believe.
Right.
What is the Hartley Bay?
Well, we can fit up to 150.
Okay, so yeah.
It can be tight, but we decided let's do 120 so we have more room between the performers and the first row in the audience.
Let's talk about the Manship Theatre. It is in the Shaw Center for the Arts.
Shaw Center for the Arts, right downstairs, first floor.
Okay.
You walk on in, and we celebrated our 15th anniversary in 2015.
It doesn't seem like it's been.
Oh, excuse me, 2020, because we opened 2005.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So our last performance was the Red Carpet Gala with Boz Scaggs.
Wow.
March 5th. So we did it on the same day that we opened back in 2005, and that was our last show, and then we got shut down. But it was a fantastic show. We've always prided ourselves on bringing incredible talent to Baton Rouge. Incredible professional, just I want Baton Rouge to say, you know, gosh, I haven't seen that person in a while, or who is this new artist, you know, and feel comfortable. They come to the theater, and usually, if it's their first time, they will be back because it is such a great experience. Every seat is a front row seat. And we're exposing them to all different kinds of genres, whether it's singer-songwriter, it's jazz, it's theater, it's dance, you know, comedy, I mean, you name it. And so there's something for everyone. And we've been trucking along. So yeah, this will be.
Well, somebody told me you got the Zombies coming?
The Zombies are coming in April.
Oh, wow.
They were supposed to come 2 years ago.
Right, well, and we know what
and
happened.
of course,
yeah.
right, but yeah, we rescheduled them, and they
Good.
are coming. Yes, it's pretty exciting.
Well, let's sell some tickets for this weekend
Yes.
because today we're taping this on Monday, but today's Tuesday. So this Friday, one show, and Saturday, two shows.
Right, at 2 o'clock and 7:30.
You have something called I'm Every Woman, and it's interesting because on Monday, today, again, today is Tuesday when we're showing this, but we're recording it on Monday. Today, in 1987, Aretha Franklin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, how fantastic.
First female inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this day in 1987. So I think that's a perfect lead-in to this weekend because there is, I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm pretty sure you can't have an I'm Every Woman without an Aretha Franklin set.
Exactly.
So tell me about the show this weekend. I know it's a Friday night, then a matinee Saturday, and then Saturday night. 7:30 curtain for the evening shows,
yep.
And then 2 o'clock matinee on Saturday.
Exactly.
Tell me about the show. It's at the Manship Theatre in the Hartley Bay.
In the Hartley Bay Studio Theater, and you know there is an entrance on North Boulevard. Just for those people who don't know that, so you don't even have to come through the main foyer. Okay. You can enter right there on North, right across from the old state capitol.
Is that next to the steakhouse?
Yeah. Okay. Next to Struby's.
All right. Good.
So you could go to Struby's, have a lovely meal, walk right down, and enter the theater. Yeah.
So I'm Every Woman, Friday and Saturday at Manship Theatre in the Hartley Bay Studio. What's the show about?
So we are celebrating the female vocalists of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now, of course, you can't, you know, you only have 90 minutes, so it's kind of hard, but it's a start. It was a very, very tough decision on who to include, what songs to include, and so, you know, that's when Mike Esnault entered. You know, usually I have crazy ideas or I have some idea, and we met at Zorba's, and I said, okay, Mike, this is what I want to do next, because this series has been going on since 2016. And we started the musical encore series for people that wanted to see more musical theater performances. And I also, in my mind, I said, you know, I want to have more opportunities that are not such a long stretch of time. You know, there's so many people that want to participate, perform. There's incredible professional caliber level of performers in Baton Rouge. And so I'm like, okay, what if we think of something that's just a shorter period of time and they can get up and they can perform and it's not like a 3-month commitment or a 2-month commitment. And so we kind of started looking at different things. Now, you know, Manship Theatre and the studio, you know, it's a black box. So there's not a lot of room for set, costumes, you know, so we kind of had to think outside the box, and it's kind of a stripped down version. And the first show we did was a great Candor and Ebb tribute, which is called World Goes Round. And that was just, we had a full little band, and we had 7 performers, and you know, it was fantastic. And that's when it got started. We did a Rodgers and Hammerstein Grand Night for Singing. That went great. Then we did a celebration of the Great American Songbook. That went great. So we were like, okay, this is, you know, we're building momentum. People started contacting me, when's the next show? So I knew we needed to do something. And so I contacted Mike Esnault, which a lot of people know. He's an incredible talent in Baton Rouge, Emmy award-winning, Grammy award-winning, you know, professional, as well as a teacher. He's just fantastic. And so we kind of brainstormed and came up with this idea to celebrate these women, you know, that have just had such a huge impact on music. And he found 5 incredible singers in Baton Rouge that are going to be singing all the different roles, if you will, but all the different performers and singers. And it's going to be great. It's, you know, I think a 6-piece band.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what are they singing to, a track, or are they singing to?
No, live musicians.
Wow.
So I think it's going to be a show where you're going to get up on your feet and you're going to dance And you know, we've been saying it's a great night for ladies, you know, ladies' night out. But, you know, it's a great night for men, too. I mean, I know they love this music just as much as women.
What, I don't want to do it. Well, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. Let's spoiler alert on who you have performing. We have Aretha performing.
Well, I can tell you who the women are. Who the 5 vocalists are.
Well, I know that, but who are they going to be representing?
Oh, yeah. Well, you got Aretha in the mix.
You have to have Aretha.
Okay, you've got Carole King. You've got Dionne Warwick. You've got Dusty Springfield. You have, oh gosh, I have my list. Tina Turner, of course, has to be in there, right? Chaka Khan, because you've got I'm Every Woman. And there's also Whitney Houston, who also did a version of that too. Donna Summer. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who am I leaving out? Linda Ronstadt, Karen Carpenter.
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to do a Carpenter song.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, you know, Pointer Sisters.
Yeah.
So you can kind of guess what song we're going to do there.
Jump.
You know.
No.
Oh, yeah. Even Joni Mitchell, of course. You know, you have to include her. So there's a lot of, I mean, and we could have added so much more, but it would have been, you know, a 10-hour show. But 90 minutes.
Well, if you take a few breaks, I would have sat through that. These are classics.
Yeah.
So our performers, our 5 performers, are local.
Our local.
And give us their names.
Okay, so we have Judy Davis. And Judy Davis and Victoria Cave are new. I have not met them before, but Mike has worked with them as well. Margaret Fowler. We have Natalie Overall, and then we have Brandy Johnson. And they are all incredibly different. That's what I love. You know, they all have different styles. So it's perfect because all of these singers are different, you know, and have a different style. So I think they're going to really embrace this music. I can't wait for rehearsal tomorrow night. That's going to be the first time we're coming back together and singing through everything. And then we'll add the band on Wednesday, and it's going to be great.
So, are they going to be all 5 together, or are they going to go on and off?
Both.
And costume changes or anything like that?
Yep,
So
all the above.
One does Tina and she comes back and does Dionne, she'll change costumes? Or?
Probably so. I mean, you know, they're not, I always say that, you know, they're not becoming these women really. They're just going to have that essence. And we're just really celebrating the music more than the singer, you know, because a lot of them may do a different style. I know there's a neat arrangement that Mike has written for a lot of these songs, and I know there's one that Annie Lennox does that he's kind of tweaked a little bit, so it has a different vibe to it. So there's a lot of freedom there, but still, the music is the music, and you're going to enjoy it.
So Friday, 7:30, 2 o'clock Saturday, 7:30 Saturday night, this coming weekend. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th and 8th.
Yeah,
January 7th and 8th. How do we get tickets? Can you get them online? Can you get them at the door?
Well, I would get them in advance because they are going fast. I know opening night, Friday night, is almost sold out. Yes, almost sold out. And tickets are going fast for the matinee and that Saturday night as well. So I would call the ticket desk, which is 344-0334, or you can go online to manshiptheatre.org and go to the event, I'm Every Woman, and get your tickets online.
That is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hartley Bay Theater, and you can enter the main, or you can enter.
You can enter both, but we're encouraging everybody to come through North Boulevard because that's where the ticket desk is.
Yeah.
So the will call will be there. You know, if you do want to walk up and try to get a ticket, you would go to the North Boulevard door. Yeah.
Don't risk it though.
Because there's going to be another performance Friday night in the main theater. So it's going to be hopping.
But not this performance.
No.
It's not I'm Mary. So
We've got 2 performances. That's what I love about Manship Theatre. Since we have these different venues, we can have multiple shows at one time.
I love that.
You know?
I love that.
And that's what we want. We want the Shaw Center to be hopping.
Well, I wanted your visit today to be focused on this weekend, but what are some of the things we can look forward to in the spring now that the holidays are slowly getting behind us? And I'm assuming that the COVIDs are going to start, you know, relaxing a little and getting a little bit more under control. At least that's my prayer and hope for 2022. What are some of the things we can look forward to? I mentioned the Zombies has been rescheduled for April.
Right. We have got, you know, the rest of our season, because usually our season starts in September. So there are a lot of shows with tickets still available, you know, and then a lot of the performers, you know, kind of got rescheduled. So we have, you know, Ace Frehley of Kiss. coming, and he's going to finish the season. Yes, we have him coming. We have Marty Stewart, who's a phenomenal musician, bluegrass, country artist. We have G Love, which is an older not an older artist. He's actually our age, but back in the 90s, he was incredibly popular with the LSU crowd, and he is coming. G Love, and it used to be the special sauce, but now I think it's just the juice. But they're coming. I know, that's a new show we just added. We have got Men at Work's Colin Hay, which is, he has come to the theater before, and that was an extremely fun performance because he's very humorous. He's very funny.
Really?
Yes, as well as being talented.
Because I've seen Men at Work in the 80s, and I wouldn't have thought that. But
He's coming in May. Oh gosh, there's so many. I would encourage you to go to the website and just scroll down because we've got a full season, and we also have a full season of family programming that's going to start back up at the end of January. So check that out, because if you have kids and you're looking for different opportunities for them, especially live theater, that's what I love, that we're providing a live professional educational show for kids. And schools also come the very next day, so we have field trips as well. So family programming will start back, as well as, people rent the theater all the time. And I know we have the Jewish Film Festival starting back
I was seeing some
in a couple of
reading
weeks.
Some of that looks very, very
We have had that every year since we've opened. So that's going to be back, as well as a lot of other wonderful rentals. Let me say that again, rentals. And Red Dragon Listening Room also does something every month at the theater, which is wonderful.
Wow. Now look, you and I were talking a couple of weeks ago about it's a nonprofit theater.
We are a nonprofit theater.
I don't know that people really understood that, because the actors and actresses are compensated, or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, these are professional performers.
I think that's what throws us off. But it's a nonprofit theater.
Right. It is a nonprofit theater. So we have a board of directors. Yeah, a board of directors, and I say this all the time when I do curtain speeches, that we rely on support, sponsorships, donations, memberships, all of that, and grant funding, because ticket sales do not cover, the artist fee alone. So we have to have support. And so, like for I'm Every Woman, we have 3 incredible sponsors that I have to mention.
Please.
We have Centerline Engineering, and we have John Turner and Jerry Fisher. And then we also have the Alma Lee, Norman, and Carrie Siraj Fund. That Carrie is great. Carrie has sponsored many of our shows in the series over the past years, and so he's back helping us out there too, because we need support, because we're that nonprofit. Yeah.
So do you feel like the arts are coming back with this? We're going in the 3rd year of the pandemic, but I think they're finding ways now to control it. Mm-hmm. You and I are triple vaccinated, so we're mask free. I'm sorry about my coffee breath, by the way, which is a good thing about the mask. You don't have to. The coffee breath thing is.
Or wear lipstick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yesterday at church, I didn't shave, but I wore my mask. So with the pandemic, slowly starting to figure things out with that. Are the arts coming back? Oh
yeah. And we need the arts more than ever, because it feeds your soul. It's therapeutic. So many people have just missed that aspect over these last 2 years. Even people who sing, in choirs or performers, they miss that outlet, because it's so much who you are. And as an audience member, you need that. You need to be fed. And so the minute that we had a show where we could bring everybody into the theater, and I went on stage, and it had been almost 2 years. I got emotional just because it was so great to see people back enjoying, what we love doing. And, they have a great time, we have a great time. And even for the performers, they hadn't performed in a long time, and they were just like, oh gosh, I've been waiting for this for years. It's felt like it's longer than 2 years, really. But yeah, the arts have, we have to keep supporting the arts. We have to, because your community is just as good as your arts community.
As good as your arts community. Yeah.
You have to.
Well, gosh, we've said this for years, back when Henry Avery was here with the Little Theater.
Yeah.
Now it's Theater Baton Rouge, and it's just exploded from where he was and before him and after him. But we've always had an incredibly high amount of incredible talent in this market, more so than local theater. But when you bring in artists from outside, do you have a cap on the caliber you can bring in? Like, would somebody like a Dennis DeYoung from Styx be a candidate for a performance at the Manship?
Well, unfortunately, he's probably out of our price range. There's a lot of artists that we do have a budget, and so we have to pick very carefully. But if you have a sponsor and they want to bring him in, by all means, we can make it happen. It's like people will suggest all kinds of artists. I'm like, hey, if you can find somebody to fund that, let's go. We can do it. So of course there's a dance that we do, but I always want to make sure that we are bringing just incredible talent to Baton Rouge, so that we can expose them to different types of performances. And I say that with the kids too, because it's sort of like you're opening the door to the rest of the world for these children, because when you see something you've never seen before, it changes you. And it's like that for adults too. I want, when adults finish that show and they're clapping and they're getting up to leave, I want them to be, somehow they're changed, for the better. Something about that performance moved them, motivated them, just made them smile. I mean, gosh, we need that now more than ever.
And you guys are offering that at Manship Theatre. That's awesome. Melanie,
we're trying. We're doing it.
This is awesome. We're going to have Melanie on a regular basis, talk about the theater. We, of course, we support the arts at Channel 9, as you know.
Yes.
With, Theater Baton Rouge and Baton Rouge Ballet and opera and things like that.
Symphony and of course.
We've got to get more into what's walking distance from Channel 9, and that's right down the street at the Shaw Center.
Definitely. Awesome. And downtown is a beautiful area, and and people love come visit your local restaurant and come and see us.
Give me the website again for tickets.
ManshipTheatre.org, and just when you go, look at events and find I'm Every Woman.
So
or you can call
ManshipTheatre.org, and that's also
and that's theater with an R-E. Too.
Theatre.
Yeah.
And ManshipTheatre.org, and that's also for the Hartley Bay studio as well.
Yes, it's all on the same webpage. Yes.
Melanie Cuvion, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's wonderful.